Welcome into another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I am Liv Moods. Happy Friday. We have much to discuss. Obviously, we're coming off of a Broncos win, but they have a pretty tough division matchup versus the Chiefs this weekend. The Nuggets are red hot. The Avalanche, best team in the Western Conference. The Nuggets, a true contender this season, with Nikola Jokic doing Nikola Jokic things. You can't be mad about that. And the Broncos, regardless of how you feel about my Denver Broncos, I've said this a million times, they are still 8-2. They are still the best team in the AFC West. And as of now, as it stands, they are a threat in the AFC when you're looking at the playoff picture. So we're going to get into all things sports here. It's not going to be our normal show where we do all the different segments. We're just going to chat on this Friday. And hopefully we'll have plenty to discuss on a fingers crossed, toes crossed, victory Monday. That is my goal. I'm hoping we have plenty of positive things to discuss on Monday. Just so you know, I might have a couple of medical emergencies this weekend. I don't want to put that into the universe. That seems crazy, but all I know is my Denver Nuggets are taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday. My Broncos are taking on the Chiefs on Sunday. I mean, forgive me, but I might be going through it this weekend with all the palpitations and the blood pressure. So just be patient with me on Monday if I look like I was hit by a truck, because I might be hit by a truck this weekend. Who knows? Only time will tell. But Denver sports, it is such an honor right now. It is such an honor to be a Denver sports fan, especially when my job is to cover these Denver sports teams. It is so fun. It is so exciting. The city just feels revived and rejuvenated, and Denver sports is just a good time. And you know what I love? People hate that they love us, like we're harmless. Denver sports teams are harmless, but we're also so annoying because the second you count us out, we are right back in your face. We've got Nikola Jokic, we've got McKinnon, we've got Bo Nix. Cut the hate. Bo Nix is a great quarterback. So we're just on the rise. We're on the up and ups here as a Denver sports, city. And I love that. First, we've got to talk about a person that, I laugh. I laugh when I think about the level in which Nikola Jokic plays basketball. He is one of one. There truly is nobody like Nikola Jokic. And I think what's weird to me is we're starting to get people that are just now figuring this out, as if this man has not been doing what he's doing for the last 5 consecutive seasons, as if this man should not be in the running for his 6th straight MVP. Yes, I will never forgive voter fatigue for the Joel Embiid MVP. Sure, you can make a case for last season with SGA, considering how dominant the OKC Thunder were all regular season long. But even then, I could argue against it. I could, how many of those points came from the free throw line? Boo, that's not basketball to me. It bores me. I'm over it, okay? So I could make a case for the fact that Nikola Jokic should be running for his 6th straight MVP. Call it what you want. But it's so interesting to me how many people are just now realizing, maybe not realizing, but publicly recognizing who Nikola Jokic is. Like, he's been this, you guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is old news. Nikola Jokic has been this type of player for so long. Just the other night, a 55-point game for Nikola Jokic, outscoring every starter on the Clippers team. Every single one. They did not have Nikola Jokic scored more points than every starter combined for the Los Angeles Clippers. And we're talking about this guy like casually, like we have a casual tone in our voice. I don't understand it. In NBA history, only one player has ever done each of these in the same season. A 50-plus point game, a 30-15-15 game, a 25-plus point game without attempting a single free throw. SGA fans, let me repeat that. A 25-plus point game without attempting a single free throw, and that one player is Nikola Jokic. Not only is it Nikola Jokic, but Nikola Jokic did this in only 8 games. The last 8 games that Nikola Jokic has played, he has accomplished these things. And we are done talking about this man with a casual tone in our voice. We are done. We're done playing stupid to what is going on. And more importantly, we are done taking advantage of the honor that it is to watch Nikola Jokic play basketball. I am so happy to see some of you coming to the right side of history. Come on over, but please do tuck your tail. Please do tuck your tail and maybe say a little "I'm sorry" in there. Because we didn't forget. We didn't forget about those media heads that did not give Nikola Jokic the respect he deserves, and now they look foolish for not. So they have no choice but to tuck their tail and say, wow, he's great. It's funny to me because just a couple of seasons ago, some of these media heads weren't even willing to acknowledge Nikola Jokic as the best in the league. Now they're trying to call him a top 5 center of all time. This switch up is crazy. I love it. Like I said, better late than never. Welcome to the right side of history, but it's crazy. And do you know what makes Nikola Jokic even crazier than everything I've already mentioned? He just keeps getting better. Can you believe that? What we watched from Nikola Jokic the last 3 MVPs that he's won, what we watched with Nikola Jokic was greatness that I don't even think we felt like he could top. Like, how do you get better than this? This guy is a freak of nature. How do you get better than this? He has gotten even better. He is aging like fine wine. And that is something that will make this Denver Nuggets team exceptionally dangerous. Hear me when I say Nikola Jokic is terrifying. If I had to play versus Nikola Jokic or guard Nikola Jokic, I would be terrified. Clippers head coach, hey, we were trying to force him to score. Didn't realize he would score 55. Yeah, that's what Nikola Jokic does, okay? But how much more terrifying does Nikola Jokic become when he's rested as he enters the playoffs? Oh my God. Oh my God. We're used to watching Nikola Jokic embarrass people and play basketball that just looks like poetry in motion. And that's with 40 some odd minutes played almost every game of the season. You've got Valanciunas coming behind Nikola Jokic and allowing Nikola Jokic to rest. Rested legs entering the playoffs. I don't think we're ready for it as a league. I don't think we are. I think it's going to be terrifying for people. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to recognize who Nikola Jokic is. Denver fans who watch the Denver Nuggets consistently, we have been knowing what Nikola Jokic is all about. We have been understanding how great this man is and what an honor and a privilege it is to watch him play basketball. But to see other people now kind of changing their tune, which I'm happy about, better late than never, but I gotta just keep it 100 with you and let you know this has been who Nikola Jokic is for the last 5 consecutive seasons. So when you have tried to go toe-to-toe with Nuggets fans and tell us that we're wrong and we're just being biased, we've been watching this man do what he's doing this season. This is not new to us. You know, we're not new to this. We're true to this over here in Nuggets Nation. We've been knowing what an honor it is to watch Nikola Jokic. We've been knowing that this is, for the last few seasons, I've been saying this is a top 10 center of all time. Now you've got media heads who didn't even want to call him the best center in the league, putting them in their top 5. They're putting him in their top 5. You guys, Nikola Jokic is truly in a league of his own. And that is something that I think if you're a Nuggets fan and you're trying to figure out what this team can bring, they've added depth to the equation, which has always been an issue. I think their defensive effort and intentions this season are much, much greater. You've got a focused and hungry Jamal Murray early, and you've got Nikola Jokic playing basketball better than he's ever played it. We couldn't imagine him getting any better than he has in the past, and he has. He has gotten better. And now you couple that with a potentially rested body entering the playoffs. It's a dangerous team, this Denver Nuggets team. It's a dangerous team. And I'm very, very excited to see how this goes. Next conversation, we're actually going to switch gears a little bit and go into the NFL side of things. And I want to talk about something really quickly. And that is Jaire Alexander. If you guys didn't know, Philly traded for Alexander from Baltimore before the trade deadline. He has not played, but they did trade for him before the deadline. He has since let the team know that he is stepping away from the game to get himself right, both physically and mentally. Okay. And I read through some of the comments on the post that was posted in regards to Alexander basically saying he's got to step away from the team. And some of those comments read, give us our pick back. Philly got fleeced. Baltimore won the trade. We made it about business at that point. And I think it's very easy as fans to, because we're competitive, and now that you add the sports betting aspect into the mix, Fans often care more about the outcome of the game, the success of their team, than they do the human beings playing it. And I just want to urge you to keep in mind what so recently happened with Marshawn Kneeland. Putting our team's success over the health of our athletes has to stop. Because there is a world in which these athletes don't want to come forward about their mental health, feel uncomfortable in doing so, feel embarrassed, feel shame. These are all very normal feelings. And I spoke a couple of weeks ago or a couple of shows ago about my own personal experience with mental health and how much shame I felt. And I wasn't even in the public eye. And I felt shame and embarrassment and guilt for feeling the things that I felt. And so I just want to remind you guys, when a player steps forward and says, I've got to take a step away from the game that I love, that's all we need to know. Because it was hard enough for them to even admit that. It was hard enough for them to even come forward and acknowledge that they need to take a step away. Because in society, no days off, you can cry in your pillow at night, but you've got to handle your business during the day. Like, get over it, rub some dirt on it. It's so easy for us, especially with men, to kind of tell them to just hold off on how they feel. There's no time for you to feel your feelings. And frankly, that's part of the problem. Okay. So I would just urge you to keep in mind that the hardest part of this for Jaire Alexander was acknowledging it to the public and letting his team know. Do you understand how much stress he probably felt having that conversation in the first place? So now that he's had it, we respect him in this moment, especially after what just happened with Kneeland, and understanding that these athletes are human beings. Whatever reason that he needs to step away from the game that he loves is, one, not our business, but two, justifiable. Because these athletes are humans at the end of the day. And I think we forget that sometimes, and I do sometimes. I forget that they're humans that deal with real life stuff, right? And sometimes I had to check myself even last season with MPJ, when MPJ wasn't performing super well, but right around the corner was his brother's sentencing date, or, whatever the case, or his other brother's getting in trouble with the gambling stuff. That's his family at the end of the day. These are still personal issues that he has to go home and deal with when the game is over. And so I just think sometimes it's good for us to just put into perspective that whatever is happening with Alexander, one, congratulations on coming forward and being vulnerable enough to admit that you needed to step away. That's huge. You should be very proud of yourself for that. And also, I'm just praying that whatever it takes for him to get right, physically and mentally, he gets that. And he takes all the time that he needs, because he's a human first and an athlete second, period. So just a reminder, we just had this happen with Kneeland, and it was devastating, and it still feels very heavy. We don't want this happening again. So when a player says they need to step away, I don't care about the trade. I don't care if Philly got fleeced per the comments section. I don't care. He's stepping away. Respect it. Shut up about it. And keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Period. That's all. Okay. Let's talk back again we're going to go a little back and forth here. We're going back to the basketball world now, because I have not been live or done a show since Nico Harrison was fired. Oh, let's talk about this, guys. Frankly, if we want to be honest, this should have happened Sunday, February 2nd in 2025, when Luka Doncic was traded in the first place. Nico, get out of here. You're gone. What the hell were you thinking? Was it Luka's weight, Nico? Because Anthony Davis looks like he's putting on a few pounds. Listen, I've been to Dallas many a time, and the food is amazing, okay? So if I lived in Dallas full time, you think I wouldn't put on a couple LBs? I sure would. I sure would. So, whatever reason Nico Harrison had for trading Luka Doncic, it doesn't matter. Because now we're on the other side of it. Hindsight is 2020, and Luka absolutely, you did not deserve him. You did not deserve Luka Doncic, Nico, period. That's what we're learning following this trade, okay? The fact that there was ever anyone out there, and shame on you if it's you, if you ever tried to gaslight me into believing that the Mavs won this trade, shame on you. Shame on you. What are you talking about? No, they did not. That was the most boneheaded trade we've ever seen in our lives. And for a second, a split second, it maybe was working out okay because we didn't know what is Luka's role. Is Luka going to stay healthy? And now that he is cooking people every night in LA, all of a sudden we have regrets. No, just stand on business, 10 toes down, Nico. You said loud and proud with your chest, this was my idea. Before you knew if it was going to work or if it was going to fail, you claimed this idea with pride. You wanted us to know that this was your doing so that if it worked out, you were the hero. Well, guess what? It's not working out, so you're to blame, Nico. I've seen the narrative floating around of people saying that Nico is just the scapegoat. Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. It was Nico himself who said it was his idea to trade Luka before it blew up in his face. Before it blew up in his face, he was proud of it. Now that it's blown up in his face, he's a scapegoat. No, he's not. He made his bed. It's time to lie down, tuck himself in, and go nighty-night. That's where we're at, okay? At the end of the day, here's the reality of the NBA. And the NFL, but we're talking about the NBA right now. At the end of the day, this is a business. Therefore, business decisions have to be made, okay? More importantly, though, GMs need to be held accountable because of the power that they constantly possess. A GM can make or break a team. A GM of an NBA team has a lot of power. They can make a change like this, good or bad. They can truly change the trajectory of a team overnight. So because these GMs have so much power, they also need to be held to certain standards and expectations, okay? And like I said, Nico Harrison with his chest said, this was my decision. I made this decision. It was all my idea. And that was before he knew that it would blow up in his face. Now that it has blown up in his face, he's the scapegoat? No, he's not. Because if this trade would have worked out, he wouldn't have ever shut up about the fact that he made this call. You made this call. It wasn't, in my opinion, a great trade. And now you've got to suffer the consequences of that. We've got to hold GMs. If we are going to give GMs in the NBA as much power as we give them, we've got to hold them to a very high standard. We have to. There's no other option. Because here pretty soon, you're just going to have GMs that just do whatever they want. Whenever they want, without any consequences or repercussions, because they believe that they do no wrong. So you got to hold these people to a standard. You have to. We're also not going to act like Nico hasn't been problematic like as of recently. Forget February 2nd, 2025. Let's talk about recently. There are reports out there that Nico Harrison urged Anthony Davis to return early from his calf injury despite the Mavericks medical staff warning him that there was a chance he could tear his Achilles if he came back too soon. And I vividly remember I was in New York City when I was watching the game and I saw Anthony Davis lean down and grab his Achilles and walk out of the game and take a second. And this was after hearing that he had his calf was swollen or he was, dealing with that. And I thought to myself, oh boy, if they threw him back in this game before he was ready, that is a liability and it's not a good one, especially if you're Nico and you've already kind of been, touch and go with people lately because they're still trying to figure out why you would ever let Luka Doncic walk out of a city that he planned to retire in. Like, are you okay? Are you under the influence? What's going on here? There's no world in which that makes sense. Luka had every intention of staying and retiring and ending his career in Dallas. You've got a star caliber player like Luka and you let him walk? What? Not even let him walk. You shove him out the door. And then you get Anthony Davis as a part of that trade, which in your opinion was the better. Like you won that trade. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made it. In your brain, you think you won that trade. Then you get Anthony Davis, and you're reckless with him and his body and his injuries. I mean, Nico, at a certain point, you got to look in the mirror and say, and I feel bad for him. I don't ever want to see people lose their jobs. I'm an empath. It really sucks to be an empath because when I want to be angry or mad at people, at the end of the day, sometimes my empathy prevails. I don't like that most of the time. Most of the time, I want to just get my point across, say a few swear words, and move on with my day. But, I already know I'm going to be the mom that the second my little baby's lip starts to quiver and they start to get their eyes well up with tears, I'm going to forget why I was mad in the first place. I hate that about myself. I want to stay pissed off. Sometimes it's justified. Okay, Nico, I do feel sorry for you. I don't want you to lose your job. But at the end of the day, when you've got this much power as a GM, you have to be held responsible. Okay, so that's what this is. Nico Harrison is not a scapegoat. We're not going to go there. We're not going to pretend that he is. He's not. He is not a scapegoat. He made this decision. He made his bed. It's time to lie down, tuck in, and go nighty-night. Night-night. Let's move on. Okay. We've got 2 more segments, you guys. That's it. I'm not boring you today with all the things. I'm just going to tell you what I need you to hear, and we go from there. Okay? The backup. I'm sorry. Let me start that over. The backup's backup is up. Right. What are you talking about, Liv? What's this jibber jabber you speak of? Well, Russell Wilson lost his backup job to the backup, Jameis Winston. Ah! We saw this coming from a mile away. We saw this coming from a mile away. Is it time? Let's start with this before I get into, actually, let me say this first. I want to admire Russell Wilson's positive response to losing his starting spot to his backup as the backup in Jameis Winston. His reaction to this decision, I just don't think we give Russell Wilson enough credit for the human that he is. Can he be a cornball? Sure. Can he be annoying? Sure. Can he really, bust your parlay and really hurt your feelings on a Sunday? Sure. Of course. Okay, of course. But this was his response to losing his job to Jameis Winston. He said, obviously, I want to play, but Jameis has worked his butt off to give him a great opportunity. He's a guy that's played in this league for a long time, and he's one of my closest friends. We just don't give Russ enough credit for being so poised and professional and kind. I mean, listen, I get it. He can be corny. Can't we all a little bit? We can. But at the end of the day, this is a really good human. This is, and I want to see him thrive. I think Russ has spent too many seasons more focused on how does the public perceive me than what type of football player am I? And I think in wasting these seasons, we're watching, I think, retirement near around the corner. And I know he doesn't want that. I don't think mentally he's there, but I just think the game has passed him by. That being said, this change doesn't shock me. This Giants team has nothing to lose anymore, right? You fire Brian Dable. You've got Jackson Dart dealing with injuries. Cam Scadaboo's been out for some time now. You didn't have Malik Neighbors. There's just so many things with this Giants team. They just couldn't catch a break this year, and I just don't think this is their year. Do I think that they've got the building blocks laid down? Do I think there's a foundation for this team for the years to come? Yes, and I think that's a very exciting thing. That being said, they've got nothing to lose. So give Jameis Winston a shot. And by the way, Jameis Winston, when being put back on a football field and having to play heroic football, tends to do a pretty great job. He actually does. So I'm excited to watch him play because I think that there's a lot of potential there for him to just go out there and start cooking. Who knows? Do I think that there's any point in really trying to fight for anything for this Giants team this season? No, of course not. Absolutely not. But that being said, when Winston has been given the chance, he's performed well. He's shown up for the teams that have given him a chance. So I'm excited to see what that looks like for him. There's plenty of season left. Who knows? Crazier things have happened. Who knows? So excited for Jameis Winston, but even more proud of Russell Wilson and his response to all of this. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be shocked. This Giants team has nothing to lose and everything to gain. Okay? That's how it goes. Okay. Our final topic of conversation for this show today is, of course, the Denver Broncos. Duh. Okay, the Denver Broncos. Let's get into it. First off, I have to get something off my chest. Have to. So this is kind of in tandem with my off my chest segment, okay? Here it is. Why on earth is a team that, as it stands right now in this moment, isn't even making the playoffs, the favorite to win the Super Bowl? The glazing has to stop. The Kansas City glazing has to stop. Now, here's the deal. In about 2.5 seconds, I'm going to get into why they are still the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I'm not an idiot. I'm a very intelligent woman. I've got a lot of common sense. I know exactly why they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl, but it doesn't make it any less annoying. It just doesn't. As it stands right now in this moment, this team is not even making the playoffs, and they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Please, God, the glazing, let's cut it out. I'm over it. It's too much for me at this point. It really, really is. It is too much for me at this point, okay? So I'm over it. I get annoyed by it. It frustrates me. You know, everyone, for a very good reason, will always believe in the Kansas City Chiefs until they truly can't any longer. Until it is too late, too little too late, the Chiefs will always, in most people's minds, be the favorite to win the Super Bowl and be a team that you have to take seriously. And I hope and pray to God that my Denver Broncos take this team seriously this Sunday. But here's the question, or here's the answer to the question. Why are the Chiefs the favorite to win the Super Bowl if they're, as it stands right now, not even making the playoffs? Well, 2 words, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the truth. You think I like it? No, I hate it. It makes my blood boil and my skin crawl. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Every time I got to talk about this guy, it's like nails on a chalkboard. But he's one of those players that you just can't hate because he's too damn good. You know, I hope there's people out there. I'm actually watching the tide turn with Nikola Jokic. People that didn't want to like him, you're being forced to because he's that good. Okay? That's Patrick Mahomes for you. Here's the deal. If the Broncos want to win, which I absolutely believe they can, their best bet in doing that is disrupting Patrick Mahomes. Disrupt Patrick Mahomes. That is your best shot. That's it. Thankfully, I think the Broncos can do a pretty good job of that. Let's get into it. Best pass rush duo in Benito and Cooper, period. I've said it all season long. Then you throw in Zach Allen, who alongside Benito are 2 of 5 players with 60-plus total disruptions in 2025. Oh, let's disrupt the quarterback named Patrick Mahomes. That's your only shot at this, guys. You have to slow down Patrick Mahomes in any way you know how if you want to win this game, okay? You've got safeties in Hufanga and Brandon Jones that rank 1st and 3rd respectively among safeties in yards allowed. This is the defense that is capable of disrupting Patrick Mahomes. You've got a pressure percentage allowed this season that ranks among the best. This is a defense that is capable of disrupting Patrick Mahomes. This is a defense that can make him uncomfortable and throw him off. And that's the only way, in my opinion, that the Broncos are winning this game. But if there's a defense out there that can do it, it's the Denver Broncos. So what we're not going to do is pretend like the Broncos don't stand a chance and cannot at all beat this Chiefs team because of a couple ugly wins. I have watched the Kansas City Chiefs win plenty of ugly football games this year. And I've also watched them lose ugly football games this year, okay? Against teams that they had no business losing to, if we want to be honest. So we're not going to allow ourselves, fans or otherwise, to believe that the Broncos stand no chance versus this Chiefs team. This defense is capable of disrupting any quarterback in this league. We're also not going to pretend like the Broncos didn't beat the Eagles, who are the best team in the NFC. We're not going to pretend like they didn't do that. They did. Okay, so yeah, ugly football games here and there, a couple of, questionable quarters, maybe more than a couple. But we're not going to act like this team's not capable. They absolutely are. So if you're a Broncos fan and you're like, God, Liv, like, what do I do? How do I feel about this game on Sunday? Here's what you do. You hope that the unit that's been carrying us all season long does it again. That's the truth. You hope that the defense does what they've done all season long. They've had 10 days of rest, okay? God bless it to our defense, right? That is the only, they are probably straggling along at this point. Their bodies are probably like, please, for the love of God, when is that bye week? It's coming. It is coming. But 10 days now, this defense has been able to rest, and thank God for it because you need them big time. Do you also need your offense? Yeah, of course. Our offense has got to figure it out with the most swiftness if we want to, no pun intended, shout out Swifties, with the most swiftness in order to make, I think, Broncos fans or any NFL fan feel comfortable about what they can do in the playoffs. Your offense has got to step up. We know this. You can't only show up in the fourth quarter. It's not going to work. So the offense, yes, you need more from them. But disrupting Patrick Mahomes needs to be the game plan. It's the only answer, in my opinion. And if there's any defense out there that can do it, it's the Denver Broncos. We are not going to pretend like this Broncos defense has not been elite all season long. They rank among the best in many statistical categories. If there's a defense that can slow this man down and disrupt him and throw him off, it's the Denver mother effing Broncos. Okay? So, an elite championship level defense versus Patrick Mahomes, that's the way. Because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, right? The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They find ways to win ugly. Actually, that's what they've struggled with this season. That is the difference to me between the Broncos and the Chiefs is the Broncos have shown that they can win ugly games. The Chiefs have actually struggled with that a little bit. So make it ugly and make it ugly fast. Disrupt Patrick Mahomes early. Knock his head off. No, that sounds violent. But I think you might need it. I think you might need a little bit of violence. So, disrupting Mahomes is the key to success here. And frankly, if you remove Patrick Mahomes from this Chiefs team, how impressive are they really? Sorry. Is that a hot take? Is that an unpopular opinion? I just don't, I'm not all that impressed by the Chiefs unless it's Patrick Mahomes. So throw this man off, do what you got to do, respectfully, and throw him off his game. Disrupt Mahomes, that is the answer. That is the way in which this Broncos team can win this game. And I think they are more than capable of doing that, period. We are done. Done. I'm done hearing through the grapevine that people have no faith in this Broncos team this Sunday. Cut it out. Okay? We're done also, just pretending like the 8-2 record doesn't exist. Has it been ugly? Sure. Yeah, okay. But it's still an 8-2 record. And it's still a better one than the Chiefs. And they're still the top of the AFC West. And they're still winning football games, whether you like it or not. So deal with it. Defense. Stop scrolling for a moment. Let me just say this, defense. I know you've done a lot. I know you're exhausted. I know it's been a very long season. I know you have felt the load on your back. You're going to need a chiropractor after this season from carrying the weight of these wins on your back. You have a bye week around the corner. For the love of God, just give me everything you've got one more time and throw this man named Patrick Mahomes off his game. Disrupt this man's peace. He knows no peace in the Mile High City as long as this Denver Broncos defense exists. Defense, I know you're tired. Honestly, same. For very different reasons, but same. You're this close to a bye week. Just give me everything you've got one last time. And I will never shut up about you, and I will make sure everybody on the planet gives you the respect you so rightfully deserve. Okay? That's all. I think that does it for another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods, you guys. Happy Friday. That was a little half-hour special for you. We didn't do all the segments and things, but I just wanted to chat with you. There were some things that I hadn't talked with you about, like, I don't know, Nikola Jokic, top 5 center of all time. He's the GOAT. Denver Broncos, put some respect on their name. They can win this football game this weekend, and a bunch of other things. A bunch of other things that I had to share with you guys. So I will let you know now. We will have a post-game live show following the game tomorrow night versus the Timberwolves. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm going to need like a blood pressure medication, I think, this weekend. Between the Timberwolves and the Chiefs, dear God, send help immediately my direction. But we're going to do a post-game live show, and then hopefully Monday for the next episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods, we have got plenty of victorious things to talk about. That is the goal here, okay? So fingers and toes are crossed. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Mood Swings. I love you guys so much. Go Nuggets, go Broncos, go Avs, go Denver Sports, and we'll see you guys Saturday night and again Monday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time for another episode of Mood Swings. See ya.
At Landmark Lincoln, we've been serving Colorado families for generations. But what matters most is giving back.
This November and December, $250 from every car sold will go towards St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Together, we can find cures for childhood cancer.
One car, one family, one cure at a time.
Let's drive hope forward, Colorado.
Every mile matters.